We had gathered here today to discuss your childish bickering.
In my defense, it's not my fault. I've not been campaigning against a clearly effective economic plan.
That is total rubbish, you hobknocker. You are ruining the nation.
I've yet to hear an idea from you. If you know how I feel, why would you say that? You put me in such an uncomfortable situation.
You're putting the responsibility of other states' debt in Virginia, and that is unjust and idiotic.
And how do you propose to solve the problem?
We need to do something that preserves American values, unlike the plan that you've proposed.
I don't know which part of what I've said hasn't reflected American values, but I'd be open to revising it if you could actually articulate an alternative.
I don't owe you anything. I have the right to my own opinion, and that's my belief. And you'll destroy our nation if we adopt this economic plan.
I hardly find it unreasonable to simply request an explanation for what it is I've done to desecrate the American spirit.
Knock it off, you two. This is hardly productive.
I do not intend to pick sides, but if a member of this cabinet encounters a problem with the current proposal, I encourage them to compose their own counter solution. If this can't be attained, I regret to inform the both of you that your personal matters have no place in this meeting.
No disrespect, Mr. President, but why are we sitting around talking about petty subjects like some irrelevant economic plan? What we really need to discuss is our foreign affairs.
I suppose the floor is open for a new topic. What exactly is it that you wish to debate?
Foreign policy. Are we aligning ourselves with the British or the French?
Doesn't matter. Both are arrogant and unworthy of our alliance. The British can help us to an extent that the French cannot. Our trade is reliant on their imports. Why not support them?
Do you not recall the war we just fought to separate ourselves from the British? Or perhaps who aided us in that fight for gaining independence? Our relationship with the French is more important than our trade with the British.
You both brought up interesting points, and it highlights something quite clearly to me.
What?
We need not take sides.
That's impossible. That can't work. The logistics, it just won't add up.
Why pacify the crown when we were enslaved in its name mere years before?
Why endanger our now fragile economy?
Silence. You refuse to see the reason in your blind opposition to each other. Listen and then speak. There is no benefit to rushing into an alliance when we need all the aid we can get. We don't need to pick sides. Remaining neutral could be the defining factor that determines whether we can survive or not. Think about it. We can't afford a war right now. Neutrality is my final decision. What now?
There's a division within the nation that needs to be addressed.
A division between?
Political parties. The Federalists and Democratic Republicans are feuding, and two distinctly opposite when it comes to many large issues. How do we fix the problem?
We need to stabilize the economy before we make any other decisions.
We can't do any of that until we find out what the majority of the nation wants. Let me assure you, it won't be your blasted propositions.
And why is that?
Because it'll ruin the country before we've had a chance to establish ourselves.
Stop the fighting right now. I don't want to have to dismiss one or both of you.
What we need to focus on is war.
We need to press our efforts in domestic affairs, like the tax issue. A strong economy would be the first step to a growing nation.
But we can't form a strong economy without a stable diplomatic relations. This would be the best for the people we represent, but not a poorly developed economic system that puts us all in debt.
That's it. This is unbearable and juvenile. I will not have this type of bickering in my cabinet. You two should learn to get along and look out for the country, not your parties. We will stay neutral because we cannot afford a war, nor do we want to choose a side in haste. Speaking of which, we will also adopt Hamilton's plan to fix the economy.
And what of the national discord?
Some things cannot be solved in one meeting. We need to give it time and assess the situation later. For now, neutrality extends to both foreign policy and internal politics. And we mitigate disagreement as it arises.
Real mature, Alex. Stop.